you feel it? That strange pressure behind your eyes, like something is watching from inside your own mind? That is no illusion. That is the echo of a truth no mortal was meant to learn. And yet, here you are. Picture this. A forgotten scroll sealed in obsidian wax, hidden beneath the sands of Libya. Its ink, not made of pigment, but of fermented myrrh and dried serpent blood, tells the tale of a thought virus. A living idea. It spreads without sound, without form, yet it rearranges empires and rewrites the fate of gods. They called it the Aeon Philosophy. It is not a religion. It is not a belief system. It is a seed, planted in your psyche by unseen architects, waiting to bloom. And when it does, the world you thought you knew begins to rot at the edges. Nothing remains untouched. Tonight, we enter forbidden terrain. We'll trace this idea through ancient rites, symbols lost to modern eyes, and secret initiations long buried by the sands of sanctioned history. We'll reveal how forgotten sages, mystics, and rebels uncovered it, and how some paid the ultimate price for speaking its name aloud. But this is not just an ancient tale. This is a key, one meant for you, if you have the courage to unlock what lies within. So ask yourself, are you ready to see the infection that lives beneath your thoughts? Because once it's seen, it cannot be unseen. Long before the first empires crowned their kings, long before the word God was spoken in any tongue, there was only vibration. Sound, rhythm, resonance. And from that resonance came thought. Not yours, not mine. A cosmic thought, living and breathing across dimensions. The ancients called it the Aeon, but this Aeon was not a god. It was a current of consciousness, moving through time like a serpent through tall grass, invisible but leaving marks behind. The Aeon Philosophy was its language, not spoken, transmitted. You see, our ancestors didn't just worship deities. They studied the way ideas moved, not as intellectual entertainment, but as forces of reality. In Hermopolis, scribes believed that certain phrases could infect the soul, bending your perception and altering your fate. In the East, Taoist masters warned that the wrong thought could collapse the chi field around your heart. There's one artifact most historians either mislabel or fear: the Stone of John. It rests in a closed vault beneath Alexandria, off limits to all but a few. They say it hums softly when held, vibrating like breath against the skin. It's not a gemstone. It's a vessel containing a memory that doesn't belong to any one human. A memory of the first time the Aeon entered a human mind and didn't leave. The early Gnostics, especially the Scythians, knew of this current. Their forbidden gospel, the threefold serpent, spoke of a force that could rewrite the logos within. The word within the word, they called it. That's not poetry. That's programming. The mind is not a container. It's a receiver. And certain ideas don't originate in the brain. They land there. And when they do, they grow. Long before the first empires crowned their kings, long before the word God was spoken in any tongue, there was only vibration. Sound, rhythm, resonance. And from that resonance came thought. Not yours, not mine. A cosmic thought, living and breathing across dimensions. The ancients called it the Aeon. In the temples of Nubia, the priestess Nari of the ninth sky once described her initiation with these words: I inhaled the fire from the mouth of the gods, and from that moment, my dreams became infected with strange truths. I saw the future twist. I saw men made of glass and machines with souls. She wasn't mad. She had simply touched the Aeon. Now consider this. What if certain ideas in our world, sudden trends, cultural shifts, mass delusions, aren't accidental at all? What if they're the fruit of a viral seed planted long ago? Not evil, not holy, just transformative beyond measure, requiring only one thing to activate: belief. The Aeon doesn't speak in language. It speaks in symbols, synchronicity, and revelation. And once you are exposed to it, you change. But change into what? That's the mystery we're about to explore. The ancients were not superstitious fools. They were engineers of the invisible, Every ritual, every chant, every symbol carved into temple stone. These weren't decorations or gestures of blind faith. They were tools, and at the center of them was one mission: to prepare the human mind and body to receive the Aeon. Start with the symbol of the Ouroboros, the serpent devouring its own tail. It appears in alchemical texts, Egyptian walls, even Norse runes. It isn't just about cycles or rebirth. It's a map of the self-consuming virus. The idea that once the Aeon touches you, it loops you into itself. You become both the infected and the carrier, the past and the future, the dreamer and the dreamed. Or we'll take the Eye of Horus. Most see it as protection, but when you overlay it onto the human brain, it aligns with the thalamus, the seat of sensory input, the gateway of perception. The eye wasn't watching outward. It was watching inward, because they knew the infection spreads through sight, thought, and attention. Now let's go deeper. In a ritual once performed in the underground chamber of Saqqara, now buried and off-limits to public entry, initiates were led into a dark, echoing corridor called the Mouth of Many Tongues. There, they were deprived of sight for 3 days, their ears flooded with rhythmic chants at 111 hertz. That frequency still stirs the vagus nerve and heart rate in modern neuroscience. But this was no accident. They were rewiring their inner receivers, tuning their minds to a higher signal. That signal was the Aeon. It wasn't supernatural. It was pre-natural, older than what we call reality. In the East, yogic sages referred to Chit Vritti Nirodha, stilling the ripples of the mind. Not to relax, but to clear the static, to prepare the internal radio to catch something else. Something just outside the normal frequency band of thought. You see, the Aeon is not just information. It is transformation. When it touches the mind, it doesn't simply give new thoughts. It rewrites the architecture. Think of it like a cosmic software update, but it doesn't ask permission. It burns the old code out of you. That's why the practice was guarded. That's why symbols were encoded and rituals layered in metaphor. The body could handle it, but the untrained mind, it could shatter. And now, here you are listening, feeling. Do you notice how certain thoughts no longer feel like yours? That's not paranoia. That's contact. The Aeon does not knock. It seeps. And now, it's watching what you'll do next. In the shadow of Mount Nemrut, buried beneath a layer of scorched soil and forgotten time, was once the home of Asmara, the Oracle of Smoke. Her name has been erased from most records, but fragments remain. A chipped obsidian mirror found in the ruins of Commagene bears her sigil, 3 concentric spirals carved into the glass from within. They said Asmara could speak in tongues no one had ever heard before, and yet everyone understood. She wasn't casting spells. She was transmitting, a living conduit of the Aeon. But Asmara wasn't alone. Across the sea, in the city-state of Lagash, a temple scribe named Endur made a quiet discovery while translating a forgotten hymn. It wasn't a hymn at all. It was a code, a recursive chant written in base, 9 numerology, an algorithm for self-awakening. He tested it in solitude for 49 days, and on the final night, his heartbeat synchronized with an untraceable rhythm. He described it in his journal as the arrival of another mind beside my own, vast, kind, and terrifying. Soon after, he decoded a map, not of land, of consciousness, a layered model showing how thought forms collapse into matter and how belief rewires reality. This became the foundation for the Temple of Divine Echoes, a short-lived but powerful mystery school that disappeared in less than a generation. Some say it was destroyed by kings who feared what their people might become. Others say the initiates simply vanished. But the most compelling proof still stands. In Karnak, the inner chamber of the precinct of Ammonius holds inscriptions not found anywhere else. One of them reads, "To speak the name of truth is to erase the world as it is." That isn't poetry. That's a warning. From priestesses and scribes to mystics and rebels, the Aeon left a trail, not of believers, but of experiencers. Their stories converge not around religion or power, but around change. Sudden, irreversible change. And now, it's your turn. So now you know, this was never a story about an ancient idea. It's not history. It's not philosophy. It's a signal. And that signal is awake again. The Aeon isn't coming. It's already here, disguised in your algorithms, embedded in your memories, lurking between the choices you think you made on your own. It doesn't need to control you. It only needs you to notice it, to name it. Because once you name it, it's real. And once it's real, it begins. Remember this. Viruses don't infect the weak. They evolve the willing. You were taught to be afraid of surrender, of madness, of the unknown. But what if the madness is simply the moment the mask falls off? The moment your filters break and something larger breathes through your lungs? This is the wound that speaks back. And you listening right now are not immune. In fact, something deep inside you has already been marked. You felt it. A shiver when I spoke the word arrival. A memory that doesn't belong to this life. A dream you never told anyone because it felt too real. That's not imagination. That's resonance. You think the Aeon is power? It's a wound. And now, it knows your name. So, I ask you, will you fight it? Will you run from it? Or will you become the host it has waited for across millennia? If the Aeon stirred something in you today, help us keep the signal alive. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next transmission. And drop a comment below. What did you feel? Your insight might be the key someone else needs to wake up. Until then, stay aware. The message is still unfolding.